Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. As you can see, it's still a little bit dark. It's just before 6 o'clock in the morning, a little bit of cloud on the horizon, and we're just experiencing first light. And I'd love to welcome in this beautiful day today with another book summary, an old favourite of mine, a book that I remember reading well over 30 years ago, back in the day when I was a young executive at IBM, and I was going through a skills growth curve where I would be reading 2 books a week or thereabouts. So I'd committed to myself as part of my growth and development in order to progress my career and be the best possible professional that I could be, that I would indulge in OPE, other people's experiences, and learn from the greats, from the great minds of the world, wisdom and knowledge that had been forever captured and documented in these wonderful books. So today's book is from one of those cracking authors back in the 80s. His name is Wayne Dyer. And the book that I'm referring to today is entitled Your Erroneous Zone. So Wayne Dyer has a beautiful and unique writing style and is able to take the complex and turn it into simple metaphors that we can incorporate in our daily lives. And this book is full of OPE, other people's experiences, that you can leverage and make the most of, because at the end of the day, it's not about knowledge, but it's about applied knowledge, is what my friend John Nematala told me many years ago, and it's so true. So in this book today, Wayne Dyer kicks off with a revelation where he says that acceptance means no complaining. In our lives, we need to accept our station in life. We need to accept what's going on around us. And acceptance means not playing the victim card, but accepting and not complaining about what is happening or what has happened. And happiness means no complaining about the things over which you can do nothing and you've got no control. So this book kicks off with a very powerful message where it basically informs us that we should be focused on and invested in only the things that we can change, only the things that we can influence, because it's folly to think that we can change the world, change the environment, change the climate through man's actions, because there is a lot more there than what we could ever be able to understand and appreciate. And the next key point, the big point to come out of this book, is to not be afraid of what other people say and think. And this is a major hurdle, a major milestone for most people, because as children we grow up socializing and trying to fit in and trying to belong into an environments, and in order to do that we take clues from other people, from our parents, our friends, our teachers, And we get caught up in that. It's something that we carry into our adulthood. You know, what other people say, and being overly sensitive about what they say and what they think. But the big message from this author here is that if you get caught up in that vortex, it may ruin your life, and it may minimize and eliminate and steal from you a lot of the opportunities that are unique to you and your life. So the call to action here from this author is to not be afraid. By all means, listen to what people think and say, but understand that your life is unique, and it's unique to you. Each of us have our own fate. Each of us have our own plan that God has designed for us. And what hasn't worked for your mother and father, your brother, your sister, your friends, your teachers, and everybody else in the media doesn't necessarily mean that it applies to you. Because there's a jackpot out there that awaits each and every one of us when we're activating and actualizing our specific calling. So the first formal point to come out of this book is where Wayne tells us and encourages us to always be true and authentic to ourselves, first and foremost. Live your life. The opinion of others don't matter all that much. I remember working at IBM years ago, and my then boss, Greg Gleason, who was a fantastic manager, a great leader, very hard-nosed, but also very well-read and well-versed, said that not all opinions are equal, he said. What you'll find in life, he says, James, is that some people's opinions are featherweight and other people's opinions are heavyweight. And it's up to you to be discerning enough to understand whose opinions you can trust and whose opinions you can throw in the bin. Because if you have the wrong advisors, if you follow the wrong opinions, the opinions that disarm you, opinions that sow fear, uncertainty and doubt into your life, then these are the things, according to the author, that are going to hold you up and basically keep you from where you want to go and what you want to achieve. So the author here, Wayne Dyer, has a call to action where he reminds us and encourages us to not fall victim to social norms that don't empower or serve us. Don't place your self-worth in the hands of the public, is a key message that he says, because the public don't have your interests at heart. The public space will try and predict your future, and they'll probably try and predict it in a negative way, basically attacking you and saying you're not good enough and you'll never be worthy of a great future. But it's only us, only you, only me, with God's guidance and enlightenment, only we can actualize and activate our future and manifest it. If you sit and rely on other people to make your life better, then you're going to be a prisoner and a victim of their whims. So invest in yourself, back yourself, have a crack yourself, is what the author is telling us. And we need to identify and leverage the things that set our soul on fire, the things that never make us tire, the things that get us up early in the morning and keep us up late at night, and the things that just keep on feeding us and making life and the things that we do oh so interesting. So the second formal point that comes from this author, Wayne Dyer, is where he says that the single best cure for worry is to take bold action straight away, even if it's a small incremental step, even if it's not a major action. Anything is better than nothing. Don't be a sitting target. Try and make the most of the opportunities that you have available to you by taking action and moving in the right direction. Because as you move in the right direction, what happens is that that movement builds momentum, and it's the momentum that helps get us over those humps in the road and through those potholes. So the single best cure for worry is to take action straight away, and to understand and to clearly understand that worrying gets you nowhere. We need to break the vicious loop, the vicious cycle that worry creates, and to actively look for solutions and to be action oriented, to be an option thinker, to have a plan A, B, C and D available to you, and to mull over and to consider the first, second and third level consequences of any decision that you embark upon. So a lesson that Wayne Dyer gives us from the ancient Greek philosophers, from the school of the Stoics, is that if you can't fix it, don't worry about it. If you can't fix it, don't worry about it. It's a powerful lesson, and we should only invest in things that we can control and then we can change, I guess, is the key message that comes from Wayne Dyer. And the last point to come from this book, the last point to come from this wonderful text from the 80s, is that we need to immediately stop feeling guilty and start working on your belief system, your BS, not the other sort of BS, but your belief system. Because feeling guilty is a toxic and a very negative emotion, and it's draining. It'll drain you. It'll take you down step by step and destroy your life. But not only destroy you, it will also destroy all of those people around you as you emanate the negative vibes, the toxic vibes that come from the false belief in yourself that makes you feel guilty for doing something. Don't focus on the past, is what Wayne Dyer says, because guilt prevents you from moving on and living your eternal now. It is a thief. It is an ugly, ugly thief. When you feel guilty, you're basically trading your now, your tomorrow's future, for what may have happened in the past, something that you can never change, but something that you just need to accept and to maybe reframe, because not all the things that have happened to our lives in the past are real. You may need to change the way you think about those things, because regardless of how negative it was, you did learn something from it. you did gain something from it. And we look back over our lives, and sometimes the worst day in our lives ends up being the best day with 20/20 hindsight, because it's the day you decided to change. It's the day you decided to cut away from the things that were holding you back and damaging you. So keep that in mind, and that is one of the powerful points that Wayne Dyer talks about. Because we need to move on, we need to keep on living, we need to keep on going one step at a time, as my friend Johnny D says. Just keep moving, and opportunities will open up along the way. New doors, new paths, new windows, and you'll have a tremendous selection of things that you can tap into. But you must get out of your past. You mustn't get bogged down in that swamp of guilt and worry. So according to Wayne Dyer, the best thing to do is simply to acknowledge and move on, and to live your unique life. Now, we've all had a different past. We're all going to live a different present. I am here, you are there. And without a doubt, we're all going to have a different future and a unique life. Doesn't matter if we're both in the same place at the same time. We're going to have different experiences because we're going to be focusing on different things. And that's what human nature is. We're all going to have a completely different life, and we're going to experience a different reality. There are billions of realities in the world, just like there are 26 million people in Australia. At the same time, there is 26 million ways of expressing what an Australian actually is. There's no one definition. We are all Australian, and we are all different Australians. But let's never forget that that flag upon the bridge there is the one and only official flag that Australia has, the one that we salute, the one that represents this wonderful country, truly represents and wholly represents this country. No other flag, no other flags will be the flag of Australia, as is the flag which currently sits on and proudly sits and flows on top of the harbour bridge. Don't ever make that mistake that Australia has more than one flag. It has one uniting identity, and we are all called to get on board and to make the most of it. So the author here once again reminds us to be on your side, to be your own captain coach, to be your own fan club, and not to expect too much from others, because it all needs to start from you. And if we don't back ourselves, if we don't encourage ourselves, then, as we said before, we'll become victims and prisoners to the whims of others. So be on your side and make affirmations on a daily basis in terms of how you want your life to turn out, with God's grace, of course, but to be positive in the things that you're looking for, to live with positive affirmation, and to manifest your future, a future that is aligned to your values, to your unique set of values, to your skills, and to your actions. There needs to be a congruence, an alignment, but it needs to be based on your ingredients and your recipe, with the help of others, of course. For young children, you need the guidance of your parents, your siblings, but at the end of the day, you need to be your own person and to take responsibility and accountability for your life as early as you can. I've got a 4-year-old granddaughter, and we had some friends from Perth join us with their 4-year-old son, and I was amazed at how switched on 4-year-olds are and how much they know about themselves, their environment, the world, and how decisive and creative they can be. So we should never underestimate the power of the individual. And children are people. There is a personhood that they have that needs to be respected and acknowledged and leveraged without basically breaking them down and making them into robots to express what the parents want of them, because each child has in themselves a calling or a number of callings that needs to be expressed in order for that child to be fulfilled. And even if the parents want the children to be doctors and solicitors and all of those things, if you want to have a happy child and a fulfilled and successful child, those children need to fully express themselves and to live their life to its fullest potential. So thank you very much for joining me on this morning episode on my YouTube channel, Jim's 5am Club, where we've been through yet another book summary. I think this one here is 1,328 or 29. We're getting there. Hopefully I can get to a couple of thousand over the next couple of years. But it is something that I really enjoy. And my mantra is live, learn, and pass it on. And every day I want to learn something new. And in order to reinforce that learning, I also want to pass it on. I also want to teach it. And that's the purpose of Jim's 5am Club, where we highlight and showcase the beauty of this country that we live in, or wherever I may be throughout the world, and we overlay it with a message of empowerment in the form of a book summary where we take OPE, other people's experiences, and incorporate them into our skill sets, our inventory of capability, so that we can use at some point, so that we can implement, so we can take action on, rather than just know about it, to use it and be it. So I look forward to this Wednesday. It's not all that cold today, it's quite beautiful actually. And I'll start heading off to work. And I wish you all a wonderful Wednesday morning. On the weekend I celebrated my Greek Orthodox Easter, and yesterday I took a drive down to Canberra to visit the National Museum, where they had an exhibition of ancient Greek antiquities that were on loan from the British Museum. And I really recommend and highly commend the work that they had done, and it was a very powerful presentation of the arts from ancient Greece, and just to be there, just to see artifacts that were over 2,500 years old, or copies thereof of artifacts, was an absolute honour. To see the beauty, to see the expression, the self-expression, the free speech being embodied in those works of art. So if anybody gets a chance, it finishes on the 1st of May. So book tickets, get in the car. It was a beautiful drive down to Canberra this time of year. The autumn leaves on the trees are quite stunning and very picturesque. So consider it at least, and have a wonderful Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Yassas, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.